Well, welcome in to My Dogs Are Barking on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. My name's Landon. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the show. We're going to talk about Mississippi State and Iowa State basketball. Also going to talk about Mississippi State and Missouri. The Bulldogs have a chance to go bowling for the first time since 2022 with a win on Saturday. But there's a lot of different things that have to work out in order for that to happen. We're also going to talk giveaways, man. We have some big giveaways to our listeners next week. We are going to be announcing a huge giveaway that is presented by Heath Riles Barbecue, and the biggest giveaway so far. We've done a hat giveaway each week this season with Hovey hats, but I'm really excited about the giveaway with Heath Riles. So pay attention to that because it's kind of for Egg Bowl week, making that a big week. And also, man, have some other giveaways to go that we're very excited about. So we have a new sponsor we're going to be talking about here in a few days. I mentioned it last week, but if you can guess what the sponsor is, like what type of sponsor it is, I will send you something from them. But just know it's a type of sponsor that or a type of product that can really just get you going, especially if you're feeling sluggish. And I'm not talking about, any illegal substance. I'm talking about something else, but it's something that kind of can get you going a little bit. So you can guess what it is. You're the first one to do it. Shoot me an email or a Twitter message, and we will get something sent to you. Don't want to make it overtly obvious, but something there. Also, man, I'm so excited that as we kind of go throughout this week. Well, and I shouldn't say excited. I was saying it out loud a couple days ago, but it's crazy to think about. But there's only two, more regular season games for most teams already. I mean, like we're already at this point in the year, and it's kind of sad, man. Like it's all gone by so fast. But one of the things we'll talk about that's football season ends, but the great news is basketball season starts up, and I think a lot of fans are excited about basketball season finally getting here. But the Bulldogs looked concerning is maybe the best way to say it against Iowa State. Looked completely outmatched. It was the Josh Hubbard show, and Hubbard played really well. I mean, really well. Well, outside of the turnovers were an issue for him after having no turnovers in the first game, and then he had 7 in the next one. But shooting percentage wise, he was really solid. 47% from the field, 40% from three. But there's really nobody else around him that could get going, and so that does kind of give a some concern for the Bulldogs going forward. I think Sergey Makura did not play really well. That has a lot of people concerned. But one of the things you have to look at, I mean, is Iowa State is a really good team. They're a perennial, Elite Eight, Sweet 16 team every single season. So you do have to remember that. But even with that, I think you could at least say, okay, well, at least the team battled. And they did there for the first part of the game, the first half. But, man, it took a bad turn in the second half. And so we're going to talk about that, and we'll kind of take a closer look at that. And also this weekend, Kamario Taylor time. Is it Kamario Taylor time finally for Mississippi State? I think the argument has been made. I certainly have made it clear that I think that's the best thing to do, but not just for the reason that everybody is kind of laid out. I think there's some deeper things to go other than just, we've seen everything we want from Blake. There's something else. I think there's some deeper reasons why you should start Kamario Taylor. So we'll look at that and a lot more. But first, I want to let you know that this episode and every episode is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Heath Riles Barbecue. It's home to award-winning rubs, seasonings, sauces, glazes, marinades, injections. Created by 2025 Memphis and May Grand Champion and 81-time Grand Champion Heath Riles. His products are trusted by pit masters and backyard cooks alike for bold flavor and winning results. You can go to 15,000 different retailers, literally, over that to get his products. It's probably at a grocery store right next to your house right now, but we'll save you some money just for being a listener of the show. I mean, how awesome, right? All you have to do is go to heathrilesbarbecue.com, pick out some stuff you like, and enter promo code DAWGS10, DAWGS 10 at checkout for 10% off. And once you try Heath Riles products, you will not go back to anything else. It's so good. I'm cooking with it this weekend. I cooked with his stuff last weekend. I will always stay true to that because it's so delicious. Heath Riles Barbecue has you covered. Grill with confidence, season like a pro. Also, man, Are you looking, or pardon me, are you looking for a deal? You looking for something that you can say, "Hey, I want my own piece of Starkville." If you don't have a place in Starkville already, let Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties help you out. You can be close to campus for the Bulldogs' next win. Own a little piece of Starkville. You can check out 5 Points Condos. It's a short walk from campus, a little bit down from the drill field there in Mississippi State. But Kane Overstreet at Overstreet Properties has several different areas that he can show you. You can go online if you're like, hey, I don't really know if I want to go in person yet. Go online, go to Overstreet Properties Facebook page, and you can kind of click the link that way. And also just look at several different properties there before you visit in person. If that is something that you want to do, you can contact Kane at 662-769-7309, 662-769-7309 with Kane Street at Overstreet Properties. Also, if you might have heard me talk about it this past week, but if you're looking for your new favorite hoodie or any of your new favorite performance wear stuff, give Melreg a try. Like I tried this brand. I can't remember the first time I did. I mean, it was several months ago, and I was thinking, like, goodness gracious, this is comfortable. Like the material that's on the inside is ridiculous. It looks really cool, and they have several options. And you're never going to guess this, but we're going to save you money. Just go to Melreg's website. That's MAELREG, Melreg Performance Wear, melreg.com. Enter DAWGS15, DAWGS 15 for 15% off. They also have Black Friday deals already going on, but I promise you, this is the most comfortable hoodie you are going to wear this winter. And they have a lot of other different golf type things. So that's melreg.com, MAEL Reg, performance wear, and enter DAWGS15. So let's talk about Mississippi State basketball first. Then we'll get into the Bulldogs' kind of opportunity this weekend, and of course we'll talk about that on Thursday's show as well. But something that was interesting during the game, and this game was in South Dakota, way up there. And in the first half, and especially in the first 10 minutes, I mean, there's 8 lead changes kind of back and forth, and with 5:07 left in the first half, I mean, like the Cyclones were up 29-27 over Mississippi State. So just a 2-point game, and then all of a sudden the Cyclones they got hot. They got going, and they had 24 of the next 32 points to take a 53-35 lead into half. And so really that's kind of what made the difference in the game to me, is that last 5 minutes they completely turned it on. Now what's odd is Mississippi State actually did control rebounds in this game. They had the rebounding advantage 37-31 over Iowa State. I think the leading rebounder for State was Encore. Yeah. He had 8. Sean Jones had 6. Quincy Ballard had 4, and then Makura had 5. Would have liked to seen Jamarion Davis Fleming get even more than that. I still have the assumption. I think they're trying to get him going, kind of into college shape, and then I think eventually he might take over the spot of. I don't know if he'll beat Quincy Ballard out, because Quincy Ballard's such a big body that's a good thing to have. I tell you, T. Bartlett is really missing on opportunities, and I hate that he wasn't exactly in playing shape when he got here, because he could be getting some minutes right now. But overall, I mean, Iowa State kept Mississippi State at arm's length the entire time. They closed out the 16-point game, and it was the first series win in the 4 meetings that they've actually had with Mississippi State. But it's 26 turnovers is the biggest number for me. It's the most, or pardon me, tied for the most for Chris Jans' coach team, but the most in terms of Mississippi State has ever had under Chris Jans. They just look lost out there. It was like if Hubbard was covered up, they would go somewhere else with it, and the other person just did not have any luck. And that's unfortunate, man. And also you think about Chris Jans' teams defensively are always really solid. This was just not that way. I mean, the entire game, Iowa State was getting phenomenal looks. I mean, they're 50% from the field. Now, from 3-point range, they did not do very well. I mean, so State did a good job there, but in the paint, I mean, you can forget about it. In the paint, they were really good. And State it was like there was not a second option. The second leading scorer, I think, was Sean Jones. And no disrespect to Sean Jones, but like he can't be your second leading scorer. That they missed Jalen Epps really bad. He's not in this game. I hope he's able to make it work at State. But like there were some issues at previous schools, and that's sometimes what you get in the portal. Now, the good news is, Amir Ali did not play in the first game versus North Alabama. He did play in this game. He only played 6 minutes, but he had one shot and it was a three, and he made it. And then they took him back out. But he is hopefully a guy who can contribute. I mean, he's a big-bodied guy. He's 6'8". So that's a guy you hope can have an impact going forward. And this is just it really was not a traditional Mississippi State game for under Chris Jans. Jans is 36-4 versus non-SEC opponents in the regular season. So Jans has done really, really well at taking care of business. And we know we've seen some of these games early in the year where the Bulldogs take care of business, and it was just not that way today. But overall, or this past week, in the month of November, Jans is 20-3. But this game just looked a little concerning for the Bulldogs. And so you got to wonder, okay, well, what's next? So on the 15th, the Bulldogs are going to be playing Southeastern Louisiana. And then it's another neutral site game versus Kansas State. And Kansas State is a team that is currently 2-0. But I mean, they hadn't really played anybody thus far. But that's a game that later on could have some really good payoff. And then they play New Orleans, and then they play another. Then they start getting really, really tough. Jans scheduled a heck of a non-conference schedule. They got SMU, then they go on the road at Georgia Tech. They play San Francisco, and San Francisco is a tournament team a couple years ago. Then they play Utah. Both of those games are neutral site. Then they host Memphis on December 20th. They're in Starkville. And then there's Alabama State. And then you get into the SEC marker. So, I mean, the Bulldogs have several opportunities to make up for a bad loss here by taking care of business versus these other non-SEC teams. But we'll just have to kind of remains to be seen. But there is a need for a second player to show up, and not just Josh Hubbard. But Josh Hubbard, he's shooting the ball really well. But again, I think the turnovers that he had, a lot of them is just because he had no other option. He took a lot of things by himself. Took some drives by himself because he knew he couldn't really kick it out to anybody else. But I expect this team to rebound, not just rebound in terms of basketball, but I think they'll rebound versus Southeastern Louisiana. They do have some things to figure out, though. But man, I'll tell you, the Bulldogs, that's one team they cannot choke against, is Southeastern Louisiana before they get into this other non-conference, slate, if you will. They cannot choke on them. But if they do choke on them and they need help, they can holler at ENT Physicians in North Mississippi. As the largest ear, nose, and throat practice in the state, their goal is very simple: deliver fast, expert, and comprehensive care for patients of all ages with ear, nose, and throat, allergy, sinus, dizziness, balance, and voice-related needs, with same-day or next-day appointments with ENT urgent care for that annoying cough or sore throat, in-office CT scans, and same-day allergy testing, and access to their comprehensive audiology team, offering a full range of services from hearing aids to custom hearing protection to potential surgical options. ENT Physicians in North Mississippi are committed to removing barriers to care, and they now have new locations in New Albany and Starkville, in addition to Tupelo, Corinth, and more. Get more details at entnorthmississippi.com or call 662-844-6513. All right, let's talk about this weekend. So Mississippi State, putting the Georgia game behind them, State has a heck of an opportunity this week. The Bulldogs will travel to Missouri, and Missouri is a 6-point favorite for this Saturday, and it's going to be a night game, 6:45 kick there for the Tigers versus the Bulldogs. And, last season, this was an interesting game. Mississippi State played well for a while and just kind of let go is kind of a familiar setting. But this year's a little bit different. I mean, God bless them. They're on their third string quarterback. And since he has taken over, they have lost both of their games. Overall, Missouri's actually lost 3 of their last 4 games. The only win they had is a double overtime victory over Auburn. But Matt Zollers played against A&M, and man, he struggled. He passed for 77 yards. Ahmad Hardy actually wasn't even their leading rusher. It was Roberts. And so it's now the Bulldogs are going to be able to see Kevin Coleman again. After he departed and went to Missouri last season. Said he wanted to go home. We talked to Coach Bumpus in the spring, and he said, man, there's no hard feelings. He wanted to go home. And so as upsetting as that is, I mean, Mississippi State played an unbelievable, pardon me, um, replaced all the production of Mario Craver and Kevin Coleman with Brennan Thompson and Anthony Evans. And I said this today on our Twitter. If you are concerned of anything in the portal, it's not going to be the evaluation of wide receivers under Jeff Lebby and Chad Bumpus. They know what they're doing. Brennan Thompson and Anthony Evans III have been one of the best duos in the SEC this season. So Thompson is tied for the SEC in receiving yards with 808. That's 12th in the FBS, while Evans leads the SEC in receptions with 56. That's 16th in the entire nation. And both wide receivers have been added to the Bolitnikoff Award watch list the last 2 weeks. State's found a way with those guys. They have replaced the wide receiver position really, really well. The question really is, can they find a way to run the ball on Missouri? Now, here's the deal. Missouri's only given up 107 yards per game. They do a good job of that. Now, that they allow about 220 in pass. I mean, they pardon me, my apologies. They pass for 219 yards. They only allow 162 yards passing per game. For a team, they only give up 270 total yards. I mean, the defense for Missouri is no joke. Now, here's the reason I bring that up. Missouri can get after the quarterback. The reason I said this the other day, and I made a clip and put it out and got some responses, for Mississippi State to win this game, I think Kamario Taylor has to be the starter because of the deficiencies on the offensive line. With all due respect to Blake Shapen, and Blake Shapen has won them games this season. You cannot deny that. And he's tough as nails. But in the pocket, with this offensive line, he just doesn't really stand a chance. I mean, he's getting blindsided. He got popped on Saturday against Georgia from his blind side. I'm glad he was all right. But Kamario Taylor, as much as he has had some struggles throwing the ball efficiently, you remember, Levy's not afraid to start a true freshman. He started Michael Van Buren at Texas last season. I mean, and played several games as a true freshman because he had to because of Shapen being injured. And I think Kamario throws a better ball than Michael Van Buren does, especially you see the deep ball that he threw against Georgia. I know he's got to get the easy stuff right. That's important. You can't win without doing those easy checkdowns and some of the 8 to 10 yard outs that they throw to Anthony Evans. Like, he's got to get those nailed down. But I think you cannot win unless you have Kamario Taylor, because of his ability to get out of the pocket. I mean, against Georgia, he scrambled for 24 yards, avoiding a sack. Then the next series, he rushed for 18 yards after avoiding a sack. He has a amazing ability to avoid pass rushers that I just don't think Blake Shapen has, and they need him. That they need a quarterback that can be elusive against this Missouri team that is such a good defense. So the question is, can they do it? We're going to talk about that on Thursday. But Mississippi State also, to win the game, it's not just putting in Kamario Taylor. They also have to run the football. I mean, I don't know where I guess the running game has gone away with Albert Reese, but there's been no running game for Mississippi State the past 2 weeks. They have to get those guys going to win. But I don't know. I'm in hopes that Kamario Taylor can start, because I just feel like we've seen this movie before if Blake Shapen starts. And it just that's my 2 cents. But for the Bulldogs to get a win, running game has to get going. And I think they have to have Kamario Taylor. But tell me your thoughts. For Mississippi State to get a win in this game, what do they have to do? Do they have to start Kamario Taylor? If Shapen does start, do you think that State can get the win over Missouri? But a win here, and Mississippi State's going bowling. And I know there's other teams in the state. There's other teams everywhere else that have a lot bigger aspirations, and that's awesome. But this team was 2-10 last season, and defensively was pitiful. And all of a sudden, they are very close to being able to go to a bowl game and building tremendous momentum going into the next season. But they got to get a win here before you go into the Egg Bowl. Just because you don't want that to be the situation where you're going, all right, well, if we could just get a win here, we go all the way. And I could see that happening, and it very well might. Like, Ole Miss on one hand is like, we've got to get a win to solidify our spot in the college football playoff. And Mississippi State's like, we have got to get a win to secure our place in the Birmingham Bowl. But They also, I mean, that's big stakes. That's Egg Bowl, man. That would be an exciting thing, but the Bulldogs do not want that. They want to take care of business this Saturday and not have to worry about all that. So we will look at those things as we get a little closer. As always, man, thank you guys so much for listening to My Dogs Pod on MPW Digital, presented by Heath Riles Barbecue. We'll holler at you on Thursday.
All MPW digital podcasts are brought to you by our friends at Parish Brewing Company, located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana. Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer, and they do it remarkably well. The doctor is introducing their new go-to IPA, Dr. Juice. It's a highly crushable juice bomb, dry hopped with a blend of their favorite hand-selected hops from the Yakima Valley in Washington. Dr. Juice's drinkability is sneaky good, considering it clocks in at 6% ABV. The pour glows a rich cantaloupe hue with a thick frosted haze, soft mouthfeel, an aroma and taste that's full of passion fruit, papaya, and blood orange, making it drink like a glass of freshly squeezed juice. They also have Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from Yakima Valley. Expect pungent grapefruit flavors and aromas, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most IPAs. Again, it's Parish Brewing Company. Wherever you get your beer, check out Parish. Make sure that you look for them, because any beer that you get from Parish is going to be absolutely outstanding.